NINTOPIC Podcast, all things Nintendo.
Welcome to the NINTOPIC Podcast. Can you hear me? Am I muted? Can everybody hear me?
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
I normally start muted. This is all new to me. You
Or a
know,
robot voice.
right? Wait, do I have a robot voice?
You sometimes do when you click buttons.
1, 2. Do I have a robot voice now? No.
You're good now.
Testing.
How about now? How is my voice now?
Hello? Hey, this is my voice? Hello?
That's the one.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. We are live here at the NINTOPIC Podcast to 76 live viewers with us. Guess what? Broken record from last week. Keep on climbing the NINTOPIC Podcast all the way to the roof. And we are here with Vandy 323, Paul Gill Network, and Linz. We have to give a huge shout out and a big hug to our co-host. She is not feeling well. Our very own beautiful Joycey J. Hope you feel well. If you're watching now, we're sending all of our love to you, and we hope to see you here next week. Well, let's. There's a lot to talk about today in the NINTOPIC Podcast, but we want to say a very special welcome to everybody in the chat. We are live on Twitter. Yes, Twitter. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Twitch. I just checked. It's all good so far. Nobody's kicking us out. and then we're live on YouTube. So we're here. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Paul Gill. Paul Gill, take it away.
What do you want to talk about first?
No, just go ahead. Say hi to people. What you doing?
Oh.
What's up?
Hi, everyone. Hope you're all having a good June 28th. Hope that summer is officially underway for you and you're enjoying it whatever part in the world you're at.
Noise. Vadi, Trito Chi.
Hello.
Fui.
I am Van Fui. I'm really pumped and excited because a little behind the scenes talk with the crew. We got some fun stuff to talk about, and an interesting story from Mr. Paul Gale. This dude's life is unreal with the people he's met, and he just talks about it like he's like, yo, yeah, Jack Black, he and I are buddies. We're chill, love it. I've met pretty much everyone from Nintendo, but it's just whatever. And I'm like, I love that. That's incredible. So I'm excited to hear some.
I was having coffee with Doc Bowser the other day. He told me that this and that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, same.
Linz.
Pretty much.
Hello, chat. I'm Linz, also known as Linz Vids, and I'm just excited. I finally finished decorating my office, and it's now like completed, and that's like my victory for this entire week. And so now that it's done, I'm not feeling like I'm sitting in my office of just chaos and stuff that I have to do. So I'm like, wow, that's so nice.
Nice. Well, welcome everybody. Everybody looks great here. I'm talking about the crew and also the chat. Guys, you look amazing in the chat. You're awesome. Go ahead and just write something in the chat. So write something in the chat so we can guess what. Look, we can do this. Look, let me show you something. Where's my chat? Where is it? Chat. Right here. Check this out. Look. Eli
That's so cool.
just gave me some shades emoji. That means cool. Okay, right? Look. Right now, let's see who else is in the chat. It says here, Mama Wolf Meg says, looks awesome, Linz. Hey, look at that.
Thank you.
All right.
And then we have another one here. Let's see here.
Paul's here.
That's me.
That's our guy.
Who do I put on the spot here? Okay, Zab Cement Gaming. Give me a Nintendo Switch. Wait, you don't have a Nintendo? You don't have one? You don't have one?
I mean, I can. Open your mouth.
Listen. The minute we reach 500 live viewers, I'll do a Switch giveaway on the live podcast. The minute we reach 500 live viewers, we'll do a Switch live on the podcast. You know what? Not any just Switch. I'll give away my Nintendo Switch, the Tears of the Kingdom edition.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Okay. So
are people that are a part of the podcast, are they eligible for said giveaway?
He's trying to find a way to say nice.
I'm trying to find the most positive way to say no.
He's like, respectfully, absolutely not.
No.
All right, and then we have one more chat here. G Small says, "Okay, let's talk about what we came here for." Yeah, I agree. Let's do that. G Small S. Let's talk about what we came here for. We came here for news. We came here for fun. We came here for. I already had a cookie, so we didn't come here for cookies, And we came here to learn more about what's happening with Nintendo Switch 2. But before we get into the main topic, we got some questions to ask, and I want to ask first to Linz. Linz, what have you been playing lately?
Hello. I've been very much back into the Unite scene.
Nice.
I was not a part of the Pokemon Unite scene for a while because they don't know how to balance their game very well, but it's fine and we stick through it. But the North American regionals are this weekend in Ohio, so a lot of PokeTuber people are going, which is going to be super awesome. I'm very jealous, and if you guys are going, just know that I'm living vicariously through each and every one of you guys. But that determines who goes to Worlds. So it's going to be really, really cool because every single person who makes it this weekend that's coming up, they're just going straight to Yokohama. So it's going to be super cool. I'm very excited.
All right. And Paul, what have you been playing lately?
Still some Tears of the Kingdom, but the amount of time I'm giving it is slowly going down per day because I've been enjoying Final Fantasy 16, which I'm a little in, and Street Fighter 6.
Nice.
I feel like, I've been a big Street Fighter fan for life, but I feel like it's that me as a 7-year-old finishing my martial arts class, walking over to 7-Eleven and playing Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition on the arcade machine, like all over again. It's summertime. It's fighting game heaven. I love fighting online. I get very upset when I lose an online match. No! And I am very much a showboater. But I'm not like
we got like a little feed going on just watching Paul play.
I should like stream that game because my reactions to that game are very live and enthusiastic because I'm a very sore loser in Street Fighter. I take it very personally when I lose, and I'm very, very proud of when I win. But I don't talk on the mic, so nobody hears me. Like I never condescend, but I'm just like, yeah, what's up?
Paul's a trash talker, confirmed.
That's it.
I laugh at myself, so I think other people would laugh too. But Street Fighter 6 has been really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Randy, did you say what you were playing?
No. Last week I pretty much said that I don't play games just because of my lack of time. But recently I've definitely been playing too, mostly again on stream because I don't have a ton of early game or like early in the day free time. But the two things that I've been loving doing on stream are Unite. I think there's only really one character in the game that I believe really just needs some tweaking. I think the rest is kind of okay.
Nice.
It's definitely been a lot more fun now that they've nerfed the dang dog. And I think I've also been playing the best Unite I've ever played in my entire life.
Yeah.
So it definitely feels really good. And I've also been doing, and I'm sorry, Mike, you're going to be upset. I'm trying to catch every shiny Pokemon in the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which I think is a pretty underrated Pokemon game. It's the most beautiful Pokemon game they've ever created, besides new Pokemon Snap.
It's a myth. It's not real. It's no.
And despite Mike never finding a shiny and believing they are all unreal,
in my life, in 20, well, 10, not 20 years. I haven't played Pokemon for 20 years.
20 years, you haven't found a
20
shiny?
plus years. Well, whenever Pokemon Go came out, start playing Pokemon.
That's fair. I mean, it's kind of easy. Lindsay's luck in Pokemon Go for shinies is pretty crazy.
I was gonna say, you want me to open my phone right now and see if I can find a shiny?
She literally found so many recently, but I found 17 in Let's Go so far. So
what?
Slowly but surely climbing. So it's been a lot of fun. It's still work, but it's still fun.
I just purchased Pokemon Let's Go Eve. Start playing that. So
yeah, that's the one I'm playing. It's a really cute game.
Yeah.
It's I think a little underrated. People either love it or they hate it. I feel like, but it's really good for shinies. So like,
Mike's finally gonna get a shiny.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. If I don't get a Pokemon a shiny there, then I'm retire.
He's never playing Pokemon again. Yeah,
I'm gonna turn in my badges. I was like, you know what?
Turn in.
No. And well, I'm with Paul. I played a little bit of Tears of the Kingdom, but ever since Final Fantasy 16 came out, I got a review code. So I got it like a week early, just a week early. I got it at the same time that the people who bought the premiere or the special edition or whatever. There's an extension you buy for Final Fantasy where it allowed you to play a week early, right? So that's when I got the code. I'm like, oh, it's not, I don't feel that special, but I still feel special because it's a fantastic game. It looks amazing. A lot of people out there are saying, oh, the battle system is not turn-based. I'm like, it's a Final Fantasy game. It looks so fantastic. I love the battle system. It's very action, very cool. The story is crazy. The characters are very, I don't want to talk about it too much because so far it's tragic, but that's all I can say so far. But it's getting better. It's very cool, and I'm having a lot of fun with that game, Final Fantasy 16.
As someone who's never played Final Fantasy, sell me on it.
Well, all right. So Final Fantasy, it's exactly what it is. It's a fantasy game. It's like a game that has it's very deep in story, very deep in magic, very deep in like mystical creatures and stuff like that. It's a very good fighting game where you level up and you have to level up to a point where you're stronger than the other person. There's two types of fighting of Final Fantasy. There's the turn-based one where you see your characters lined up just like in Pokemon, but in 3x3 or 4x4, like in some Final Fantasy have 4. I know Final Fantasy 7 had like 3. like that, and it was like very turn-based. But I think ever since Final Fantasy 11, Paul, let me know, 11 or 12, that's when they went all for the action part rather than turn-based.
11 was online,
yeah.
the way 14 is, but
Yeah.
12 was a little bit different. 12 was, I mean, not the same like Xenoblade
Mhm.
Chronicles 3, but comparable to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and then 13 was still turn-based,
Okay.
and then 15 was their first like big open world one, but it
Yeah.
was more action, and this
And
one's
it was
like
more action, yeah.
try action.
Yeah, and coming from playing Tears of the Kingdom, basically an open world action adventure game, then going into Final Fantasy was just easy for me in normal, because at the moment, although I am used to the Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, all those turn-based part games, it felt normal to me because I just had just played, Tears of the Kingdom. It was an open world game, but it's a deepened story, very rich, and it's, if you like magic, you like really big giant creatures that fight on your behalf or against you, it's a good game. Like, I know my favorite character is Shiva. She's an ice goddess or whatever, and whenever you fight, you can summon her and she'll just wreak havoc with ice. There's another character called Ifrit. I've never pronounced that well. Ifrit or something. He's like just kind of this fire god kind of guy, and also comes over. There's Phoenix. There's a whole bunch of characters involved, but it's normally like a save the world type of kind of game in certain Final Fantasies. Other Final Fantasies is save the kingdom. There's just so much variety when it comes to the series. I think the most famous one, of course, it was 7. It had the one of the best stories, and it was that type of save the world kind of game. You have to save the world because people are killing it, and we have to kind of save it. But that's kind of like I'm not sure if you're gonna like it, Lynn, because it's
why?
It's very the last one. It's very Tears of the Kingdom-y when it comes to the way it is. You're kind of like do you like leveling up and like using big giant weapons and upgrading your weapons and kind of like slashing people over and then just like cross the face like that and all bloody and gutsy and stuff?
As
This
long
one is actually
I don't mind that. Like I've played other games, like Star Rail's also like a turn-based where it's fighting.
Yeah.
You have to level up your weapons, their side quests, everything like that.
Yeah.
It's just not open world.
yeah.
So like I'm fine with like beating people up and leveling up weapons and doing all that kind of stuff. But
Final Fantasy 16, I noticed it doesn't seem open world. It just seems like it's like they bring you out to a map and then you kind of skip and go to the next level, and then there's you move along the story.
But would I
And-
have to do the first Final Fantasy to understand the new
No,
Final Fantasy, or can I
no.
just pick up Final Fantasy and it's like its own thing?
Yeah, pick up any Final Fantasy except for 10 and 10-2, which is like a continuation of them. But every Final Fantasy is kind of its own little story, separate story. Yeah. So you pick up Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A really cute one to pick up if you want to start is 9. They have a little characters there.
He's like, here's the cute one for you.
Yeah. Right.
If you like Game of Thrones, you might like Final Fantasy 16
Literally
There
my
you
favorite
go.
show. Literally
There
my
you
favorite
go.
show.
because it's medieval castle stuff.
Yeah.
Little bit of romance, blood and guts. It's got cussing. It's the first M-rated Final Fantasy game.
Yes, I
Pretty
noticed,
different in those regards.
and that's
We'll
why
have beheadings and stuff like that.
yeah, I wasn't gonna stream it on the channel until I played a little through. I'm like, oh no, I can't stream this. I can't stream this. Yeah, I wish there were a feature to turn some things off. I haven't checked. Maybe there is, but yeah, I can't stream that. That's the little But yeah, that's what we've been playing lately. I don't want Mandy to fall asleep with this.
Sorry, I'm
picking on you, dude. I'm picking on you.
I feel bad. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I just streamed a little tired.
He's 24/7. He streams in his sleep. But like, people, he has a channel where he just sleeps and just streams right there.
That's it.
2 million views. From
He's
people
like,
who watch him
all right, guys, are you ready for a battle royale? Oh,
You just go right back down.
thank you for the gifted.
All right,
There's the shiny.
I find shinies in my sleep, Mike. How does that make you feel?
You know what? Let's just move to another topic. No more shinies. Anyway, news in my corner. Before we're about to get there, guys. We're about to get to the Switch 2 stuff. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot to digest. There's a lot to critique. But news in my corner. Let's start with Paul. Paul has numbers for you guys.
News. Well, you probably saw. I mean, if somebody watching in the chat follows video game sales, this might interest you, or maybe you already know the answer. But Matt Piscatella over on Circana, formerly the NPD Group, they released their numbers for May, and Nintendo Switch was the #1 best-selling console in the United States for the month of May. And The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom was the best-selling game, despite only being out for 19 days, so not the full month. But no surprise there. The game was obviously a hit, and Nintendo confirmed 10 million sales in the world for that opening weekend, 4 million plus in US alone. And what Circana reported also is that it is the second best-selling game of the year, despite only being out for 2.5 weeks in May. And that's only physical sales. Companies like Sega, Square Enix, Microsoft, Sony, Capcom, they share their digital and their physical numbers. So when you see that NPD chart and you see, okay, Hogwarts Legacy, FIFA, Street Fighter, like these games that are up there are physical and digital representation. Nintendo doesn't share their digital. They release those later on. So the fact that Zelda was the best-selling game of the month and second best-selling game of the year, physical only, means like, oh man, it might already be the best-selling game of the whole year, including digital. But if not, probably really close. So that's pretty awesome, because Nintendo Switch being, that was its 75th month of availability, and it won April best-selling of the month and May back-to-back. PlayStation 5 took January, February, March. Now, this generation is so good that being second place doesn't mean like, oh, you're a loser. It's just slightly less good. There's good, and then there was just better. There used to be a time where second place or third place was like dead last. There were generations where like PS2 was here and second and third were down here. But nowadays, like even when Nintendo Switch is second, it's like here. But it's been first the last 2 months in a row, so it's performing really well. So that's kind of the sales update regarding, in terms of news, and pretty cool stuff. It's good to see that the system is performing well. And what we always hope for is Nintendo transitions well into their next generation.
That is awesome. That is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. For the Switch to be this late in its life cycle, just really crazy. Doing these types of numbers, it's unheard of for Nintendo, I'm pretty sure. And I think that it speaks to what we're about to speak about in a couple of minutes. Let's take it over to Lynn's news in your corner.
I mean, I kind of said it before, but there's a lot of Pokemon happening this weekend in Ohio. So like TCG's happening, VGC's there's just like a lot is going down. So we'll be very curious to see the results. I think it's going over Friday and Saturday. So I know it's one where people can actually go in person, and it's going to be like a super interactive event. People could get tickets. So it's a really cool time to be around. But I'm very excited. And it also just makes me happy that like the Switch is still doing well, because I feel like everyone's critique constantly is, well, PlayStation 5 graphics are better. Well, the Xbox Series X is basically just like a mini PC, but like the Nintendo Switch doesn't need that to be the best-selling console when it's way past its due date. Like there's no reason for the Switch to be selling as well as it is. Yeah. But it's proving that like you don't have to basically sell a mini PC and charge $500 plus for it to make games that people enjoy and be a best-selling console. So well I think that's really sick. So yippee. That's me.
Jumping over to Vandy's corner.
Yeah, my corner is pretty similar. I mean, like we said, like NAIC in Ohio it's a pretty pressuring situation for a lot of the competitors, because this pretty much determines worlds, this determines seeding, this determines a lot of stuff. we know a lot of people that are going. We know a few competitors, and then we know like a lot of creators just to go to watch. And it's really funny to see the different reactions of like that people are going to watch. Like, I'm so excited! It's gonna be super intense. Like, I can't wait to see all this stuff. And the competitors are like, I'm a fall up. Like, I'm super scared. I'm nervous. Like, it's a super intense situation. So I definitely wish we could be there as well. And then I guess a small other thing in kind of like my corner of Scarlet and Violet is I love seeing people's reactions to the new raid events that are happening right now. For those of you who don't know, there's this Pokemon called Gimmighoul. He's this little creature in a chest, and he's like the 999th Pokemon, and he evolves into the 1000th Pokemon.
Wow.
And they're doing an event where you can catch those Pokemon in raids, and you can potentially hunt for the shiny. It's a limited time event, but people are a little upset, understandably, because it takes like probably 5 to 10 minutes to beat the raid. The Pokemon can only be shiny in 5-star raids, meaning the hardest raids that it can be.
Wow.
And then they didn't increase the shiny odds of it. So it's like 1 in 4,096 chance to get it.
So in other words, it doesn't
amount
exist.
Of time.
It doesn't exist, in other words, right?
Well, I have a mod who's found 2. But shout out Jess if you're watching. But a lot of people are very upset because it's like the shiny also sucks. So it's all these different things piled on of like a bad shiny with a limited time event that takes forever to do, only in one specific style of raid, and you did increase the shiny odds. Wow. So it's like you could have done something here. You could have thrown us a bone a little bit here and there. But I mean, they're definitely getting a lot of publicity because a lot of people are either like, you know, you guys complain about the shinies being too easy in Scarlet Violet, and then right when they get hard, you're complaining about it. But yeah, just a small little thing that's still going on right now. So if you guys don't have a shiny chest boy, you guys can still grab it. But yeah, just a small little thing going on.
All right, just taking notes here. Taking notes. Shinies easy in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
They're so easy.
Okay,
you can walk around and find one.
I'll be the judge of that. Let's see if I can.
Do you enjoy doing a Subway sandwich simulator?
Yeah, you make a sandwich and then you're off.
Oh, that's true.
You literally craft a sandwich.
I did that. It's like you're breeding Pokemon and multiplying them with sandwiches. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you can increase the encounter rate. Yeah.
I know. I made a whole bunch of Charizards just by like having given him. I gave him a sandwich, and then I had a baby egg, and then just.
You breeded them.
Yeah, so I'm like, wait, how did I get a baby egg? Because I know I had one of those little dittos, and then I had like a little Charizard there, just like baby, no, it was a baby, it was a really big one.
Yeah,
and they just gave me another egg, and there was another one. I'm like, whoa, how is that possible?
Listen, nothing says true love like a Subway sandwich, and I think that's the real takeaway.
You really
here.
set the scene for some good old breeding by having a picnic table out there.
Right.
Really set the mood
in front of the whole. Anyway, my corner. Well, my corner is a good segue because it has to do with Nintendo Switch 2.
Woo!
Your soundboard is also not working, just so you know.
It's not? You can't hear the clapping?
No.
Well, I can clap for you.
Yeah, we're the soundboard.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Any clappers in the chat?
I think I have it on mute.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
There we go. Man, so like you guys like just completely ignore all those I think like really, really cool like sound stuff here, like mixture and like a little. I was a DJ back here while you guys were talking and it came out. But anyway, let's go ahead and well, my corner is a good segue for Nintendo Switch 2 because well, it has to do with Nintendo Switch 2. I went over what happened. I think this past week, Nintendo had their fiscal meeting, right, with their shareholders, and Nintendo with their shareholders, they need to be upfront with them because these are the people that they pay for stuff, right? The shareholders are the money, or the bread and butter, like I call them, right? So there are two very interesting questions that were asked during the shareholder meeting regarding the Switch 2. One of them had to do with the availability of them, right? How scalpers in particular, right? How did Nintendo have a plan, And to me, this is how I hear it. If Nintendo takes the time to answer a question about a next gen console is because they themselves are thinking about it. They themselves are preparing for it. And it's, I mean, they of course they know more than we do, but it's something that is on the way, and they're answering that question to a shareholder, not just anybody in the street. They're not answering the question to a media person, right? They're answering the question to somebody, to them, who actually matters, money. So they answered this question. They answered the guy he said, you know what? We are getting ready for that. We are planning. Shintaro Furukawa stated that they are thinking about that, and their plan is to produce more next gen consoles that they to meet the man. Meaning they're gonna produce a whole bunch of them so that they don't have to worry about scalpers, or they don't have to worry about people missing out on the next gen console, which to me is a big thing, because that's the biggest problem we have, right? We're worrying about Switch 2. Then I get a whole bunch of comments. Yeah, but you know what? They're gonna scalp him, and I'm not gonna get one till like 2 years later. And it's a huge thing that Nintendo has to offer. Another thing they mentioned was that they were gonna use Nintendo accounts for people to buy Switches, right? You have to have a Nintendo account, go to the website, and order straight from them at the beginning, which is a really cool thing, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure they have their bots out there who just make accounts and buy anyway. They come up with it. But still, those are things that Nintendo is doing to help people get their hands on a next gen Switch. I'm happy to see you. When did that comment get up there?
That's been up
That's
there
been
for
there
like
for
this
forever.
entire podcast.
Really?
Has been
That's
there for
been
the
there
whole
since the
podcast.
beginning.
How do I remove it? I can't even see it anymore. Oh, hi, comment. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
There
All
we
right.
go.
all right. So I'm happy to see you guys too. We're happy to see you too. But yeah, Nintendo answered that question. They are working on a way so that scalpers don't ruin our holiday season when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, right? The next question got me even more excited, and it has to do with Nintendo accounts. This shareholder said, hey, what are you doing to prepare for the transfer from one console to another? What is it you're doing to kind of? I'm putting in my own question. I'm not like I'm wording it in my own way because I like how it sounds better than how they said it. Anyway, putting it. What are you doing to prepare for that transition? And well, Furukawa also mentioned that we're focusing on Nintendo accounts. Okay, it's gonna be easy because we have Nintendo accounts that are moving forward with the next gen console. And I know that it was something that's kind of obvious because there's right now 250 million. Is it 250 million? Is that around the number? Is that a good number?
I think that's with the Nintendo Switch users and mobile combined.
Yeah. So overall, 250 million accounts, which is crazy, right? And so they're going to use the account to move forward to the next gen Switch. Now, they didn't really say this per se. They didn't say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do this and that and that and that." But one assumes that a transition requires services, right? It also requires maybe games, right? So let's say backwards compatibility. You can bring your games forward with you because your games are attached to what? Your account, right? You sign into your account, you go to your download section, you can download a game, bring it forward with you. So if you own a Pokemon game on Switch, you can bring it forward to Switch 2, right? And plus, if you put this together with the leak from back in the Pokemon Presents Day, the guy who said, "Oh yeah, we're working on a Switch 2 update for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet," that a DLC update for that, like or a patch or something, right? If you put those things together, that tells you, yeah, maybe not all games will be compatible, but most of games will be compatible with Switch 2. I can tell you that at least all first-party games from Nintendo will probably move forward with Nintendo, and maybe it's up to the developers to kind of bring them forward to the Switch 2. So that was one thing that they conversed in the meeting, not the backwards compatibility, but that Nintendo is focusing on maintaining those 250 million accounts to make the transition to the next console a lot easier, which is really good news for everybody. You guys don't forget your password. Don't forget your passwords. Don't forget your logins because you'll lose everything you purchased. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen. Whether the they haven't spoken about backwards compatibility, and we'll probably will never hear about it until they announce the console itself and they announce the features. We're all hoping that Nintendo does bring us backwards compatibility because it just makes sense.
There's no
it's
way
just
they
so
won't, right?
yeah. It's just their holiday release kind of tells us, hey, you're just going, okay, Mario RPG, okay, Mario Wonder, okay. It's like they're giving us these games, right? These amazing first party games, and then releasing a console, let's say 2024, right? You expect these games to move forward because they're acting like they're releasing games like this is the first year of the Nintendo Switch. Tears of the Kingdom this year. We started with Fire Emblem Engage, Kirby's Dream Land Deluxe. What was the other game? There was another. There's a whole bunch of games that were released this year that were really good.
Was Bayonetta this year? Or was that last year?
This was
Bayonetta Origins.
Yeah.
Bayonetta Origins. Yeah, that was this year, right?
Yeah.
This should be this year.
Pikmin.
I don't remember.
It's
My
been a while,
only
yeah.
thing is I pray they make it like cohesive as to how to transfer your save data, because
yeah.
when I got a Nintendo Switch and I upgraded to an OLED, you would have thought that it would have been a simple process to get your save information as long as you follow the tutorial that Nintendo has at the beginning of booting up your new thing that says, I would like to transfer my data. You would assume, right, chat, that if you followed those very explicit, very thorough steps, that your save data would be transferred. Unbeknownst to me, my Animal Crossing island, and I know that this means nothing to you guys, but to those who saw it, I had so many hours. It was like I had professional YouTubers asking if they could like go to my island and use it for their footage. I lost the whole thing because certain games apparently require you to download their own program that you have to individually use to get your data transferred over, and they don't explicitly say that until you find out that it's gone.
I think it's only Animal Crossing that did that, by the way. I haven't heard of a single other game that does that.
Yeah, that
it's
little
just
package
the game you had. Other people, well, other games have done that.
I've had a few people come into my chat and they're like, I thought my XYZ game data would have transferred over and XYZ didn't transfer. So, I mean, I can't name specific games off the top of my head, but yeah, I have lost like hundreds of thousands of hours and I was heartbroken. But other people have lost stuff too. So like I'm just praying that if we do this and we make things backwards compatible, if we're going to have a very thorough, very explicitly detailed tutorial, can that encompass everything, please?
Yeah,
For
I
the
mean,
sake
so
of
far,
my sanity.
so far confirmed by Nintendo themselves, accounts are moving forward. And that would also implicate Nintendo Switch Online, which is an online service that is probably moving forward as well, because that's a subscription service that they probably want to continue, and then maybe adding more consoles to it, like maybe GameCube and Nintendo Wii. Maybe we're still in the early days of NSO, but think about NSO in the future, bigger NSO. Like a couple years later, you'll see the Wii there, you'll see the GameCube there. Some of the games that they would want to remaster, they'll still remaster, but for the rest of us, they want Animal Crossing 1, bring it, they'll put it on the cell and it'll be available
nostalgic
there.
Game.
Right?
Nostalgic game.
Yeah, super nostalgic game. I can still see like the little characters moving forward in this little map that was like look weird at the beginning, but then you kind of got accustomed to,
man. Such an OG
arriving on the train and having this cat with big eyes look at you like,
cat.
What are you doing?
All up in my business, dude.
Yeah.
Stop asking my name and date of birth and where I'm going.
I mean, I know in the chat a lot of people have so many memories of GameCube and moving forward. So I know that eventually Nintendo will continue to serve us when it comes to Nintendo Switch Online, and that's one thing that's hopefully that I know. I'm gonna say, you know what? If it doesn't move forward, I'll shave my head.
Wow!
I'm
Flip it.
I'm sure of that. Nintendo Switch Online is moving forward. It's a
Yeah, for
subscription service that Nintendo has already subscribers to, and they're just not gonna shut it down having subscribers to it already. You know,
they're already porting over Pikmin 1 and 2, which were the GameCube. So
yeah,
they can do it. So I don't know why. Like, Nintendo's not stupid.
yeah.
Just why, like, I have no doubt in my mind, not only will they bring GameCube over because it's smart, they'll bring the Wii over eventually because it's smart, and they'll also have backwards compatibility, going back to one of our earlier conversations, because they're not stupid. Yeah. Because that's just a waste of money, that's a waste of accessibility, that's a waste of marketing, that's a waste of a selling point. Like, there's no way they release these banger games, and then with a lot of us thinking that the new Switch is coming next year, maybe late next year, like next holiday, they're just gonna be done. Like, you just can't play them anymore if you play the Switch 2. Like, Nintendo's not dumb. There's no way they do that.
Yeah, and mind you, the Switch lifespan will probably last about 10 years because you know,
that was the original plan when they said a 10-year lifespan is the goal for the system, and some people interpreted that 10 years before a successor comes, or Nintendo will be internally supporting it for 10 years and a successor may come, and then that's the one that satisfies more people, I think, because folks that want to move on can, and folks that aren't ready yet, or because stock's not available, you know, maybe they won't be able to play every AAA title that Nintendo has in year 9 of Nintendo Switch's life, because that might be an exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 title. But some of the smaller games, the NSO titles, third parties will support it still. Indies will support it still. Like, Nintendo Switch has a, you know, strong future lasting. Oh, and I wanted to say one thing. One of the things that excites me most, because you're all talking about, you know, NSO and what you're expecting to next. Even though it might not be the most popular, I want a Nintendo Labo VR Virtual Boy add-on, so I can slide the Nintendo Switch into VR goggles in the red and black goggles. I want to recreate the Virtual Boy playing experience like Nintendo Switch, because they can do it. It might not be the most popular, but how Nintendo, like, they got the Sega Genesis controller, NES, SNES, N64. I want to have a plastic, cardboard, whatever, with the Virtual Boy thing, and that excites me for the future. Like, you know, a Sega Dreamcast controller for the Nintendo Switch, a Nintendo GameCube controller. Yeah, I have one for Smash Brothers, and I could hook it up to the side via USB. But no, it's just like a proper Wavebird for Nintendo Switch. That's the thing that's also exciting about NSO, because for me, the controllers are on my entertainment center. That's my art. You know, like, they look cool. Even though I don't play the NES Classic and SNES Classic because I have NSO, they're still on the entertainment center as pieces of art in the room, because that's the way they look. So I want more plastic in my house.
More plastic.
Or cardboard. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great idea too, because that'll be super interesting that they bring the Virtual Boy back, and then they do some maybe quality of life improvements on the actual games, make them less lasery how they were before. Like, you know, I remember when it came out, I went to the store. I remember going to my Sears, local Sears, and they had it on the display on top of the desk like that, and you look through it, and then you saw all that redness there. And Mario Tennis, I think it was one of the games that were on there, and I was excited when it came out. I didn't know that gave some people seizures, but I was excited when it came out. It's because they were trying to do the 3D type of atmosphere in the 80s. I mean, close to the 80s, 90s, you know? So Nintendo has always been ahead of themselves when it comes to technology. They've always been trying to look further ahead. Technology sadly wasn't there yet, but it's there now, so they can do some improvements in order for us to enjoy those games that we never got to enjoy. There's games on Virtual Boy that we can bring. So I actually went with Paul on this one. It'll be crazy if they do. But moving forward, we have that. You know, we had that meeting. Nintendo accounts are moving forward. That's confirmed. Okay, Nintendo accounts are moving forward. Nintendo president said, I got a comment today. No, until a leaker, when I said that, until a well-known leaker says it, I won't believe it. I'm like, Well, that's the president of Nintendo. That's the president.
You can't get more official than the president of
But he's
Nintendo.
not a YouTuber.
He's not a YouTuber.
He's not a YouTuber.
I'm like, that's the president of Nintendo. I don't. Well, he's the main leaker. He's like, right? When he says it, it's not a leak anymore. It's just fact. It's written down. But segue to what we are here to talk about. Just like that comment. So like that comment we were earlier. We're here. We're talking to talk about what happened today. Okay, and just to lay the ground for you guys, Microsoft started everything here. Okay, not Microsoft started everything. I mean, they're in the middle of acquiring Activision Blizzard, right? And so I'm guessing everywhere else, but everybody else but the FTC is on board with the purchase, right? And it's almost there, but the FTC, they're not on board with that, right? So it led to Microsoft versus FTC in court, and so there were a lot of people there. Order in the court, and all that stuff going on. I wish I would have been there, all that drama in court and stuff like that. You want the truth, you can't handle the truth. That's
The only time Mike ever says, I just really wish I was in court right now.
right.
Why wasn't I there?
Everything.
Yeah, we got some very really cool characters, witness characters that stepped up to the what do you call that thing? The little box, to the podium,
The podium?
No, is it the
Stand?
podium? The stand, yeah. Wow, seriously, wow. The stand.
You can tell we haven't been to court, chat.
And the thing is that I'm embarrassed because I watched a show called Suits on USA for like.
Yeah, Suits is all about lawyers
Court.
in the stand.
And I'm like, I forgot the word stand. Wow. Anyway, so we got some characters who got on the stand and said a little bit more than they needed to, right? One of them was apparently the lead of actually one of them was the president of Sony. Okay, let's start with that. He didn't go there personally, but he sent a recorded version of himself. Okay, like a virtual version, like a robot. And the statement that stood out was that, Nintendo is not a direct competitor to us. We don't see Nintendo as a direct competitor to us. Okay, 250 million accounts. Another Japanese account that was been here since the 80s, that literally has been the leader in the market for the past. The Switch, you know what? 90% of the Switch's life has been on top, and they're not a direct competitor to us. So that one stood out to us. Chat. Let me know what you guys think about that one. The other one was about Activision Blizzard. I think it's the lead or the president or the head of Activision Blizzard. He admitted that they regret not bringing Call of Duty to the Nintendo Switch, right? Because they thought that the Nintendo Switch would fail, like the Wii U before it.
Sony is silly.
That's a silly little fella right there.
And yeah, I'm like, whoa, you must be kicking yourself every day, if because man, so that's another one. But then the same person said, oh yeah, we had, I think, paraphrasing, we had talks with Nintendo, and apparently there's a lot of versions out there, but there's one version that says, and I heard that the Nintendo Switch is as powerful as a PS4 and an Xbox One. The next gen Switch is as powerful as a PlayStation 4 and a next gen Switch. I'm going to throw it out to you guys there. Okay, Paul, what do you think about that statement?
That the Nintendo Switch 2 is as powerful as PS4 and Xbox One?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, that's a pretty beefy hybrid platform. And if anyone thinks, that's way too weak, Nintendo's going to be far behind, there's more to it than just, like the raw specs, the pure teraflops and the amount of gigs of RAM. As technology improves, you could have less RAM now and have a more capable machine. The Xbox One X is on paper a more powerful system in terms of teraflops than the Xbox Series S.
Mhm.
Yet the Xbox One X cannot play all of the modern Xbox Series S games because it's more modern tech. There's different changes to the way the CPU, the GPU runs. Is a different caliber, different quality of visual RAM. So it's faster and better and more efficient. And we have technology like DLSS now. So Nintendo's going to find a way how to maximize every area that they can. If they had a purely beefy platform, it would have very poor battery life. If they had a bigger battery and a beefy platform, the thing would cost up there the several hundreds of dollars, so it would sell to the masses. If it was underpowered, then it would lose too many third-party ports from what the competition's having. So they really have to have this balance where I think they're going to go with, yeah, maybe it's something on paper is comparable to PS4, Xbox One, but the kind of performance you're getting out of it is comparable to a Steam Deck. Because with DLSS, if that has it, that's going to make the difference. So, I think the most, without knowing too much else officially, I think Nintendo Switch 2 will be to PS5 and Xbox Series what Nintendo Switch was to Xbox One and PS4. You're getting the games that are coming out this generation for the most part, maybe scaled back down a little bit, but you have the benefit of playing Elden Ring in portable mode also. And when Mortal Kombat 1 is already coming to it, but when the next, whatever next big third-party game is, you're going to have it on Nintendo Switch 2. Just expect it to play a little bit less, but it's the only one that you have TV and portable for $400, $350, and Nintendo exclusive. So I know that was a little bit derailing from the basic question, but yeah, I think if it's in that realm of power, it's going to be fine.
You said something there that hit the mark. Okay, it's not just as powerful as the PS4 and the Xbox One, but you mentioned for a hybrid console. Okay, for a hybrid console, this is not just a console sitting there. If Nintendo wanted, they could make a standalone console that just stays on your living room and make a beast. They can do it. They have the power and the ingenuity and the knowledge to do that. But what they're doing is keeping that hybrid factor. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of PS4 players and a lot of Xbox One players would have wished they could take their games with them. On if you're in New York on the subway, if you're in anywhere else on the bus, on a plane. Imagine taking Elden Ring on the plane, just playing on your Switch. Another thing is that Steam Deck is there, but Steam Deck is still, I feel like a Steam Deck is still like a beginning console because they still haven't mastered the heating and cooling yet. Because I had the Steam Deck, I only installed this game with the little lizard. I think it was something a lizard, a little platform lizard. It was like a little mini game. It burnt my hand, like the back of it got extremely hot, literally really, really hot. So I'm like, what is this? I literally, ow, my hand, and I told him like it burnt my hand. It literally, my hand was kind of red after a while just because I picked it from the back. And then if you take the Steam Deck right after playing for like 10 minutes, you can use it as a hair dryer. Not lying. Use it as a hair dryer because it blows hot air. You're just gonna pass it through your hair like that, or whatever. Because they haven't mastered that cooling yet. The part where you can actually have graphics and then maintain the levels, the temperatures down. They have a fan that just blows like crazy and it blows hot air like crazy. So what Nintendo has done with the Switch compared to what the Steam Deck has done with that is like, so that Nintendo they might have something under their sleeves with the Switch 2 if it's as powerful as the PS4 and still hybrid. Take it over, Linz.
Oh, goodness gracious. I mean, I've said this argument before, but I've always just kind of like, I understand people's complaints about the fact that like the Switch isn't a PS5. And my argument always is, look at the game difference of the two things. Like, Kirby does not need to be in PS5 graphics. Like, you could play Kirby on PS5 graphics and be like, okay, You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be like this major, like, holy God, I have now ascended. I understand that there is life beyond death and everything is fine, right? But like for a PS5 where they're making like insanely hyper realistic, very immersive, true to life, everything, right? Like, sure, I understand wanting to have it be basically like a movie, right? I mean, like Nintendo has some titles, like Xenoblade is 100% more graphically advanced. Tears of the Kingdom is 100% more graphically advanced. And I'm sure seeing those games in at least a stronger compatibility would be super awesome to see, which is why I think it's really cool that we're at least getting to a point where we're at like PS4 graphics. And I mean, I've worked in the gaming industry. I've had to sell people these consoles, and I've had that exact same conversation that Paul had of just like, well, you might think that this is like the better system, but if you look at the specs, like you have a different monster in front of you, you know? So I think that if we're at that point where we're kind of not overdoing it, but we're giving a chance for these other titles that really thrive on those really high quality graphics to kind of ascend, and hopefully that brings in these other competitors like Elden Ring, even if they brought over like God of War or something like that over to where it doesn't have to be insane graphics, but it at least allows people an opportunity to play those kind of games on a mobile thing. I mean, people might be willing to literally just buy a Nintendo Switch just so they could play Elden Ring on the plane. You know, like that is a realistic world that we live in. Like if someone just travels a lot. So I think that they're doing a very good happy medium, because I also think if they were to go too crazy and too balls to the walls, people would then be upset that the price range is far too high because they're going to charge something that's realistic for what people are wanting. So I think if they were like, hey, this is going to be $600, then people would be like, that's far too expensive. How are you going to charge $300 for this and then $600 for this? I just want Nintendo. So I don't know. I think it's a really good happy medium. Because I don't think Kirby and everything else needs to be crazy. I think it gives the opportunity for these more graphically advanced games to really shine. It's a much more powerful system than people kind of give it credit for when it comes to just like the actual computer specs of it all. But I don't know. I think it's a super good happy medium, especially if it's still a hybrid. But yeah.
I agree. I think that there are some games on Switch that they don't need that power because they already look great, and there are some games that could actually use it. So, what do you think, Vandy?
I guess my first thought when we had talked about this before the podcast started about how it's going to be a PS4 and an Xbox One, I don't think people really realized that there wasn't that much of a graphical difference between the PS4 and the PS5, or the Xbox One and the Xbox Series S, besides the specific games that they made to look good on the PS5 that they would then bundle with a PlayStation so they could sell it like that. Like God of War is a perfect example. It was a good game. My brother played it and stuff, and it was a good game. He said it didn't also run all that well sometimes because they spent so much time making it look good so they can sell this new gen console. But the biggest selling point of the PS5 over the PS4 is the download speeds of the giant games that Nintendo's not going to have. Cool, you can download from a PS5, you can download a 67 gigabyte game in 3 minutes. Cool. Kirby is like 4 kilobytes. You're like that's not going to be a problem on the Switch. So if you look kind of towards the Call of Duty games that they're just making because they know they're going to make money, it doesn't look any different than like Modern Warfare 2 from the Xbox 360. Like genuinely, the graphics have not gone up that much in those types of games, besides the ones that they are forced to make look good so people will buy them, like the new sports games and something like God of War that they can bundle with the PS5. But PS4 graphics for a majority of their games look very similar and very good than the next gen console that preceded it. So if you take away the fact that the PS5 can download terabytes of games really quickly because you're downloading like Pikachu's Chef Adventure for like a gigabyte, that's also going to take 3 minutes, and it's going to look good because of the graphics that the PS4 graphics are going to provide for some of these games that really we don't need, but we get. So I don't think there's really any cause for like, I can't believe Nintendo's not making PS5 level software. We don't want that because it's going to overheat, it'll catch on fire, and we don't need a lot of these games to look that like we really don't need it. And we're getting, because of the PS4, we're getting 60 FPS now, which is such a big thing for people. It's now 60 FPS. So congratulations, everyone. We get the 60 FPS. We get these beautiful looking cartoon games that looked amazing. To be honest, the only game that doesn't look good on the Switch right now, Fluff and Scarlet and Violet. It does not look that good, but it could on this next gen console. And we're not going to have any of the games not working very well, of the overheating problems, because obviously Nintendo has never had a problem with that. It's still going to be portable, and we're not going to have terabytes of games. So that whole selling point is also out the window. So
I can now get Charizard ulted in 60 FPS.
Yeah, cool. I get to play Unite and Rage in 60 FPS instead of 30, which I never had a problem with in the first place. So like, again, I don't think people realize how much we don't need 60 FPS, but we're still going to get it, and the games are going to look even more beautiful. But I'm excited for like the processor of it all, and the fact that it's still going to be this monster that I can also take with me wherever I go. I think this is more than enough, to be honest.
Yeah, and I completely agree, and I think that Nintendo is not only going to upgrade the graphics or the GPU, CPU, but they're also going to update the storage. You know, we have updated storage now. .M2, versus SSD. Guys, if you have an SSD, believe it or not, that's old already. I'm like, what? That's already old? That's like old technology, because there's now these .M2s. I have like these little strips like this. The .M2s, you can actually use them on your console. You have to buy an adapter that literally transfers data so fast. Like literally, I transfer a 5 gigabyte file from one place to another in seconds rather than just minutes. So if we actually have upgraded storage as well, how fast games are going to read, and load, maybe loading time will come down low, because I think Nintendo could be working on that too. We have games that almost don't load at all. Tears of the Kingdom, you know what I mean? They don't load that much. We have these little screens when we travel, we teleport, but Nintendo just created a game on the Nintendo Switch, not a next-gen console with the power of PS4, not even PS4 or Xbox Series One. They created a game where you literally transition from the sky to the ground to underground and no loading whatsoever. Okay, they created a game where you can literally look afar in the distance and still see the birds flying without no little clipping in or clipping out. I can go like that and go put my little goggles on and look at what's happening over there, and nothing will clip out or nothing like that over there, because everything is moving as it should. Like if you were in a real world, you can actually look aside. Oh, there's a dragon over there. Let's go take a look at it. It's actually making sounds and it's going like this and everything. Like, what in the world is happening? So if Nintendo can work this much magic with the Switch, which apparently to everybody's underpowered, it's not underpowered, is that you don't know how to use power. Oh, okay. Imagine what they can do with a PS4 hybrid. Okay, I'm putting it there. PS4 hybrid console. It's not just a console like the PS4, a lazy thing just sitting there looking good, getting dusty. No. You get to pull it out of the dock. You get to take it with you wherever you want. And not to mention what Nintendo's going to come up next, because remember, we do have Joy-Cons. We might not have Joy-Cons moving forward. We might have something different. Nintendo always likes to innovate when it comes to their controllers. When have we had similar controllers in Nintendo and for each console, except for Mario and NES and SNES, which is like the they added buttons, But moving forward, then we have the Nintendo 64 with a different controller, the GameCube with a different controller, the Wii with motion controllers and a different method of playing, the Wii U. Okay, Wii U. Let me not mention that one, maybe.
That one doesn't exist. What's a Wii U?
But it did present the option for moving with your screen and playing away from your TV, which kind of morphed or evolved Pokemon spoke, it evolved like a Pokemon, it evolved into the Switch, right? Where we have the fully hybrid console. I guarantee that Nintendo will give us a hybrid console that will not heat up like the Steam Deck heats up, or any other consoles out there who are trying to gain power, but they don't know how to use it yet. It's a thing. It's a thing to have power, but do you know how to use it? Can you manage it? Can you literally get the best out of it? And that's my word for developers out there. Hey, you can develop for the Nintendo Switch. You can. It's not impossible. You can do it. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is not Nintendo's fault. It's not the Switch's fault. It's Game Freak. It's the developers who and it's not even Game Freak. It's the schedule they were on. They didn't have the time that Tears of the Kingdom had to develop a game. Imagine if they had 6 years to develop, Scarlet and Violet. Imagine the game they would have come up with. Fantastic,
Best game ever.
They need some time. So I don't even blame them. They did the best they could with what they had in the time they had, and apparently, and to me, it's still a good game. It's still selling. It's actually still selling a lot. It's Pokemon. Pokemon will sell no matter what. No matter what you put out there, Pokemon's gonna sell, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, trust me, Nintendo is gonna wow people with the next gen console, because that they what's that thing they like to say, Paul? They like to. They have all this saying.
I like to put smiles on people's faces. That's one of their things. Shock and awe.
Yeah, shock and awe, and then wow and delight, something like that. They like to, they like to delight, and they do that with their consoles. And Nintendo's more than just a console. Nintendo are their IPs. No matter, as long as they have Pokemon on their side, as long as they have Mario on their side, as long as they have the Legend of Zelda on their side. Trust me, Splatoon. As long as they have their IPs, Nintendo's never gonna, Nintendo's gonna be on top no matter what. Yeah. And it's just a matter of time.
Someone in chat actually brought up something really good that I wanted to light. We've been gassing up Nintendo, as we should. We love Nintendo. Nintendo's awesome. Super excited. But Kirst mentioned something that I kind of want to bring up as well. Please make working controllers for the Switch too.
Yes.
Because of how much Joy-Con drift, disconnections, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi errors, like a lot of that kind of stuff happens. Like, is that like the underpower of the Switch? Is that like the controller design? Like, is that hopefully something that they're gonna have to freaking put like actual quality time into doing? Because there are probably more people who have had Joy-Con drift than have not had Joy-Con drift.
And I agree. I think that Joy-Con drift, it's not just with Nintendo, it's across the board. I think with the Joy-Con, we've seen it a lot more just because of the form factor of the actual Joy-Con. It's a little plastic thing there that has no other compare a controller where you're holding it like that. The form factor is a lot more solid than just a piece of stick here. Sure. That you tend to put more force on the stick than holding a controller where you can distribute the force throughout the entire controller. So just like the one Randy's holding, right? When you hold it like that, then you're not putting all your force on the sticks. So that of course that's gonna cause Joy-Con drift because of the form factor. Now, Nintendo might not be the greatest at admitting things, but I think in the behind the scenes they know what's going on. I think that they have a team working on a way to improve this. Hopefully, I'm just kind of trying to be optimistic, and I hope that it's not a Joy-Con. I hope that if it's a Joy-Con, maybe they improve something on it. They give us something new, not so far-fetched that we can't recognize it, but something that can maybe give us a new way to play, but also fix that little issue. Now, there's also another technology that has been out now recently that just came about recently. There's a company who owns a patent for it called GuliKit, and they created there you go. They created a stick that runs on magnets rather than just hardware, so it will never have Joy-Con drift, right? a lot of other companies have extended that patent. They've actually licensed that, and I think Microsoft is one of them that they license. There are solutions that we did not have back in the day. You know what I mean? Nintendo, I'm not sure if they were gonna reach out in the middle of the Switch. Maybe they know how long the Switch has left, and they say, you know what? At this point, let's just focus on the repairs and the little tweaks here for that next gen console to give people a better experience with that. But I completely agree. That is the biggest flaw the Switch has had when it comes to, controllers. You don't hear about Joy-Con drifts on a Pro Controller that much. You hear it on the Joy-Con, although it happens across the board, but it's because of the form factor that it has. That's kind of I took a course on I think it was Coursera. You heard of Coursera before? It's a place where they give you like college courses, but it's all there. Yeah. And they were talking about physics and talking about a whole bunch of things. They use the Joy-Con as an example. And that's where I'm not that smart, guys. That's where I got that information from. About the form factor and the force and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, that makes sense. Can you talk to Nintendo and go tell them that information? So they can design it better. So guys, that's Switch 2. That's what we know about Switch 2.
I think Lynn's was gonna say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as someone who worked for a gaming store that I will not disclose, I will say the amount of controllers that I had consistently come back for being defective were 80,000 times more either PS4 or like your standard Xbox controller, like not 360, but just like their newer, like ones that come in 80,000 different colors. I had probably 3 controllers come defective every single day to the store. I think in my entire history of working for that company for the amount of time that I did, which granted was like a quarter of a year, but I only had to help 3 customers total, I think it was, with Switch Joy-Con defectiveness. But every single day I had either a PS4 or I had an Xbox controller coming in. And that could, that's not me trying to defend the Switch. Their Joy-Cons are faulty. Thankfully, I have not had a pair of faulty Joy-Cons. It could just be that demographic had a lot more Xbox and PlayStation. There's a lot of factors that it could be. But I will say, for the 5-ish months of me working for insert company here, I had PlayStation, Xbox controllers coming in every single day. I had maybe 3 customers total ever have a Joy-Con problem with Switch. So it is much more common across the board. I think it's just, unless you're working directly with people who are having that issue constantly, you're just not aware of how consistently it's happening across the board, across other consoles. But
and good point. And to add to that, if you guys didn't know, Nintendo to this day, they'll replace or repair your Joy-Cons for free. If you go to their website. I made a video years ago about this on the channel where I actually sent my I had the 2 main controllers. They both have Joy-Con drift. I sent them and I got them back a week and a half later. I actually did something like a little mark to them to see if they were the same ones. They weren't. They sent me new ones. So unless they replace the entire casing or whatever. But they do repair them for free. If you can be without without your Joy-Cons for a week and a half, I'm telling you, it's so worth it to get your Joy-Cons fixed. You don't have to spend $70 on more Joy-Cons when Nintendo themselves are offering to fix them. All you need is your address and you need your serial number from your Switch. That's it. Serial number from your Switch. Doesn't matter when you bought it, as long as you have your serial number from your Switch, not just a Joy-Con by itself, because they want to make sure that you do have a Nintendo Switch and you're just not doing it to resell it or whatever. You didn't buy a Joy-Con and you want to repair it. You got to give them your serial number from your Switch, and then they'll repair it or replace them for you completely free. So if you get into that, go to nintendo.com/support and you can get more information there. All right, how about we get some questions from the chat? Right, let's get some questions in, guys. I see some questions out there. And
gamers, if you have a question, drop them in the chat. Por favor.
This is the portion of the last 15 minutes of the podcast. This is where we get the questions out there. Okay, questions out there. And if you have a question, I'm not sure if it works here, but if you have a question, go ahead and ask it in the chat. Let me go ahead and update my chat here because I'm still further away there. All right, so let's go ahead here. Who wants to take on this question?
How many? I forget how many days. I don't think we know when the Nintendo Switch 2 is dropping.
Question I have here. Yeah. Oh, well, we don't even know. We don't know.
I was gonna say we can't answer that.
Oh,
No,
I
no,
like the
no.
one by Cuban.
296 days.
296 days for what?
296 days, because I'm gonna
He's calling
say
it.
Nintendo Switch 2 comes out on April 19th, 2024. There you go.
That's when they'll announce it, or that's when you can buy it.
That's when it's coming. That's the release date. You heard it here first. I
Wow.
have no idea. I have no idea.
That'd be crazy.
That's just my
But
guess.
that looks like a very possible because it's actually in the next fiscal,
It's the next fiscal year.
yeah, next fiscal year. So it's actually pretty good. Yeah, go ahead.
They don't kill the Nintendo Switch momentum by announcing it now, which would be like, well, why would I buy it over the holidays?
Mhm.
They wait till the holidays pass. They have an event in January. They say it's coming out in April, so people don't feel tricked like they waited last minute. But what about those February, March sales? That's when they reduce the Nintendo Switch price. So people be like, well, I don't know if I want to wait till April because I could get a Nintendo Switch for a discounted price now, or no, now it's time for me to just wait because I've waited this long. I'll just wait. So there you go, April 19th.
All right, you guys heard it here first.
That'd be crazy.
RPO Network
dude.
If
officially.
it happens, you could go back to this stream and cut out this little portion, and
Yeah.
like, hey, you know,
Hire this man.
it predicted it.
All right, let's see here.
Do you want to grab the one by Cuban Pete?
Yeah. Where is
Yeah.
Cuban Pete? Cuban Pete. Is this the one?
The one above it.
The one above it.
One about okay. Cuban Pete. There we go.
Yeah.
Does backwards compatibility? Wait, does backwards compatibility a deal breaker for you guys?
Is backwards compatibility a deal breaker? So as in, if this Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't have backwards compatibility, are you gonna buy it?
Well, as content creators or as users, we can answer the both. As a content creator and as a user, as a Nintendo fan. As a Nintendo fan, I have to say kind of yes. I would literally take a little more time to get the Switch, the next one, just because there's so many games that I have that I'm so attached to, you know, that I just recently purchased. Tears of the Kingdom one being one of them, you know. So as a content creator, I have to get it just because I have to cover, you know. So that's like a kind of like a thing. But backwards compatibility is, I think, is a deal breaker for many people. Yeah. So what do you guys think?
You want to go first? I have a very passionate take on this one.
Go, Paul, go.
Anyway,
Go, Paul.
Okay,
That's
as
our
much-
man.
I would love for it to be, but I think I'm in the minority when I could say I could almost care less because I have another HDMI port. Switch to HDMI 2, play Nintendo Switch. Switch to HDMI 1, play Nintendo Switch 2. Boom, done. Back in the day, I had my NES connected to the Super NES, connected to the N64, to the GameCube,
Yeah.
and they were all the coaxial things that I had to rub in the back and boom and go to the TV. And I just turned on this console and that console. And those four systems all had their own unique medium, their own unique controllers, their own unique power. And I had to get up off the couch and put a cartridge into this system to play and so forth. So maybe it's because, you know, I was a kid in the late 80s and early 90s, so I got used to that. Now, I will admit, like, the modern conveniences of definitely having, I could just pop it into this one and don't have to re-download and don't have to shift between. That makes sense. So I get it. I'm on team. I hope it's backwards compatible, especially if they're having upgraded versions of it. Oh, I don't want to have to buy Tears of the Kingdom all over again. I'd rather be able to stick that into the new one, pay $10 for an upgraded crazy visual patch. That would be cool. But for the most part, just with the HDMI port, I'm good, you know. But I think they should be backwards compatible, and NSO definitely will be. Everything else, hopefully. But to me, I'm probably in the minority on this. I don't know.
You guys want
I
to?
think.
You guys want to tackle that question, or you want to do another one?
You go, Bandy. Go.
I mean, my answer would be pretty short. As a content creator, no. I don't think there's very much that can happen to where I won't be buying the Switch 2, especially considering I have full confidence that the first game released will be Mario. And I love Mario. As a consumer, I kind of agree with Paul's point. It kind of depends on how much of a crazy upgrade it gives some of my favorite games in terms of like kind of how I wanted to see in this new HD way. I think that I will buy the Nintendo Switch no matter what. But if I wasn't a creator, I also would probably wait a little bit if it didn't have backwards compatibility, because once I beat the new big game that they drop on that console, I'll probably be playing my Switch OLED more than the Switch 2 once the big game that I bought the Switch 2 for anyway is beaten. So I'll probably wait a little bit, but I'm a content creator, so I'm going to buy it anyway.
Good answer. Good answer. You want to tackle that, Linz?
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like I would be a very big negative Nancy if I was like, yes, absolutely, it's a deal breaker, blah, 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 and just like everything else. I just don't think Nintendo's stupid. It's just really what it is. There's no reason for Nintendo to not make stuff backwards compatible, and they already are. They're going so far back in the archives to make stuff backwards compatible right now. I don't see a realistic realm where if they're going to be putting Game Boy games on the Nintendo Switch, that they're not going to put Switch games on a newer Switch. Like, I just don't see a realm where that's realistically possible right now. If they're, like I said, going all the way back to SNES, they're going all the way to GameCube, they're going all the way to Game Boy. Like, I just don't see it happening, to be honest with you. So I would be thoroughly shocked, astounded, confused, and will never make a statement again on this podcast if they don't make it backwards compatible. But I mean, that's just kind of it. I think it would just be very, very silly, and it would be the biggest like flop of the century for them to say that it isn't, to be honest.
So I guess when it comes out and it's not backwards compatible, we'll have Linz here with the little Roadrunner sign, kind of like
Brownie face. That's just it.
We got a question from Southern Style Gamer. Are you excited for the new Mario game?
Which one?
Yes.
There's two. That's right. There's two. There's Mario RPG, and then there's the new Mario game. I'm pretty sure you said the new Mario game. Let's start with Mario Wonder, and then we'll go to Mario RPG. Who's excited for Mario Wonder? Nobody's excited?
All right.
Big time.
I think we're all just being kind and letting each other speak, and no one's going.
Right.
I'll start because I'll be the negative Nancy. I'm gonna get so much hate for this. This is gonna be rough.
Do it.
Be brave. Be brave.
Good ratings.
2D Mario games give off the same effect to me as Call of Duty in the sense that it's not different enough for me to enjoy. There are a few power-ups here and there that kind of make it cool, but because of the limited possibilities of 2D Mario games in terms of you can only run to the right, then you can only go up, and you can only go down. Yeah, you can like run backwards, whatever. But with the limited options of 2D Mario games, they're not different enough for me to enjoy them, because in the grand scheme of things, it's the same game. You run through levels, you save the princess, you win. Whereas 3D Mario games, what I just said is technically true. You run through levels, you save the princess, you beat the game. But 3D, it's vastly different. There's so much more you can do. There's so many other places you can go. It's kind of open world in the sense where you can choose what level you go to. Mario, you're on this level, or you can go to this other path where there's this other level, and you go through one of those two, go to the castle. Like, it's not different enough. So it seems really cool. They did add Elephant Mario, maybe a couple of the power-ups. A lot of the world does change, but it's still the same thing. It's not different enough for me to buy. So no, I'm not super excited for it. I'm excited for fans. Not excited for it.
He's not a 2D Mario fan.
Not a 2D Mario fan in the slightest. I haven't been for a while because I've beaten the originals and I've beaten some of the newer ones. Same game.
And take it away, Paul.
Well,
The last
I like that Vandy said, I'm excited for fans. And that's a good thing, because I think that as long as something, Vandy probably will say it looks to be a good quality game, just not for him. And that's how you should acknowledge games. Like, if something is built well and, objectively has a lot of the check marks done, it just doesn't sit well with you, you can still be happy with it and support its success. For me personally, though, I love Mario, both 2D and 3D. Some of my favorite games of all time are, Mario games from Super Mario World 64, but that's a 3D one. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, very different. So I'm looking forward to Wonder. I think it's going to be a good quality 2D platforming title with friends and a co-op and a nice animation and the music I'm looking forward to and all of it. So definitely hyped for Mario. And just in case the Southern Style Gamer was asking about RPG, also looking forward to Super Mario RPG because that game came out in like 1995 where we already knew what Super Mario 64 was going to look like. And here we saw these magazine shots of the Super NES, our old school buddy, that had these like 3D kind of looking Mario game. And Mario RPG is a classic. So looking forward to playing that one again. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's a game that I'm looking forward to playing a lot just because I did start playing it on NES, but I never finished it. So this is my chance to finish it. I'm having like a Link's Awakening moment because I didn't play Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, but I got to play it on the Switch. And to me, I love that game so much. It's my second favorite game, Link's Awakening. And it's not even Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom was my first, by the way. First, it was Breath of the Wild moved to third after Tears of the Kingdom.
Wow.
But I have to get back. I went back to Link's Awakening. I just love that game so much. It's just so beautiful, But Mario, I'm excited for Mario Wonder. Super excited for Mario Wonder. Got to question what the flower is though, because it makes everything go nuts. Yeah. And I'm excited about first thing. I don't think I see Daisy there. That's an extra level of excitement for Daisy because when has Daisy been a playable character in a side-scrolling game from Mario or even 3D? You can count Mario Party, or any other sports games, but for the first time, she's part of the crew. She's part of the clan, and then you play co-op. Now, the princess is also there. You have to unlock her? Is she with us? We're not rescuing her anymore? Maybe after Mario the movie came out and gave her a new character, a brand new like tough look and stuff. Maybe we're not even have to rescue anymore. Maybe we're rescuing something else. Maybe we're just kind of rescuing the kingdom instead of just a princess. Something. There's so many questions with that game that I want to answer too. But I'm looking forward to both games, and they're great. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one to.
Lynn's never answered the Mario one.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
Oh, I mean, to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping I would go under the rug. I don't
say your answer.
So
right,
I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I had Mario growing up. Mario just wasn't my guy, to be honest with you. Like, I played the games, I enjoyed the games, but like my entire history growing up, if a new Mario game came out, I was like, cool. Yippee! So I mean, like, it's cool, and like I like the fact that like they're trying to keep away. They like found a really new art style, which I think is kind of nice. I think it freed Mario from the shackles of the same art style that he was getting for like the last 10 plus years. It has to be at this point. Mm-hmm. So I think that's really cool that, he's at least new and refreshed and everything like that. And I've already gotten hate from when I reacted to the trailer, and people were in my comment section like, I can't believe you didn't like react enough to like the Super Mario RPG stuff. Like, this game's a classic. How dare you? And I'm like, I wasn't even born. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I wasn't born. And when I was born, I was not going back to SNES games. I'm sorry. It's too little too late. I'm happy for Mario people. I really am. Is it my game? No. But am I happy that like they tried? And and I think that when you have a franchise like Mario, there's only so much you can do, especially if it's like a 2D Mario where it's just the side scrolling and stuff like that, to add new without it losing its touch. So I think they kind of found a really nice way to do that, where they updated the art style and they created power-ups and they created like a quirky, fun way and different for Mario to be. But I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to just like keep pushing these games out without people wanting like another Odyssey or something else that's just bigger, you know.
Yeah.
But as we've already discussed plenty of times, I think it's coming. It's just not yet. And if they're saving it for the next gen console and they're gonna bundle it with the Switch too, like that makes sense why we don't have it.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool.
So after that, there will always be 2D Marios and there will always be 3D Marios. That's what
Yep.
Nintendo said. They've already kind of established that. We're always going to get a series of 2D Mario side-scrolling games, and then we're going to get the bigger, the huge Odyssey style Mario games. You know, so to me, I love the fact that the animations are new, the expressions on his face, the way he goes inside a pipe, and then he kind of peeks before he comes out of the pipe. You know, like it's really cool the way he runs. There's so many little details that they add to this 2D Mario that I can see and get excited for those of people who actually love the game, because it is a brand new Mario. It is a side-scrolling game like every other Mario, but it's fresh, right? New coloring, new style, new animations. There's a lot to look forward to in this new Mario. So, guys, whoever's looking forward to Mario, we're with you. We love you. Let's move on to the next. We have a whole bunch of questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a question, and then one of you guys can answer it and move on, and then another you guys can answer it, so that we get through more questions faster.
Cool.
Is that good?
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Blurpity blurp. I got lost. Let's see here. No, that's not it. But street. Okay, this is okay. I think this is a question for us, right?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
How about Street Pass or trophy support for the Nintendo Switch console?
That's one of you guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know what that is.
Oh, I know that. Vandy,
Yeah, I
do you
know
know?
that.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I'll do it. So, Street Pass or trophy support, I think it's interesting. So, what Xbox and PlayStation do is that for each individual game, Paul, you can never correct me if I'm giving misinformation, but for any game, if you do some sort of achievement, it kind of like gives you a special reward or special trophy, and each game has their own specific, kind of quests. I don't know, just kind of like things that if you do, you unlock this certain like trophy. And it could be something as obscure as like kill a cow with like a bow and arrow in The Witcher. And then like it'll be like this really cool like trophy kind of thing that'll pop up, and it'll be like you unlocked like trophy or like cow hunter or something like that, and like you can kind of see how many things you've done in all of these different games. And so obviously for Switch, I think it'd be really cool if they did this. It would be a lot of work, but I think it'd be very cool if like you could get a reward system for like something like Zelda. It's like cook like burn food in Tears of the Kingdom, or like make it grow, make like the gross food, I forgot what it's called, and eat it. Like boom, that's an achievement. But then you also have like an achievement like, beat a level with 1 HP in Mario. Boom, did it. Or like something like that. And then you can kind of go to this sort of like collection. You can see with each individual game that you've bought all of these different random trophies that you've ended up getting. So I don't know if we'll get it because Nintendo's never leaked, never hinted at that. They've never said anything about that. And we haven't seen any leaks about that. But I think that'd be a very cool thing just because of how unique and diverse a lot of Nintendo's games are.
I'm almost surprised they didn't all this time, because that kind of stuff builds loyalty.
It does.
I know people that, they began playing Assassin's Creed on Xbox 360, and that's where all of their achievements are. So they won't buy another Assassin's Creed on another console because their achievements and their story, their lineage of playing that series and all the achievements are there.
Yeah.
People that, they played Street Fighter 4 on PlayStation 3, they won't buy, another Street Fighter like 6 on Xbox because all of their trophies are linked to PlayStation and they want to continue that lineage. So, some people don't care, but for those that do, wouldn't you want to capture that mentality of gamer? So Nintendo, that's one more thing in their arsenal they can have. Nintendo Stars, because you don't want to be achievement or trophy, but Nintendo Stars. And
Yeah, they do kind of have some type of achievements. You get silver coins. In game, but we have silver coins in the outer world where you can actually redeem for real stuff. I'm actually waiting for my I ordered couple of things that I redeemed some silver coins for, and then gold coins you can also redeem for real, like real money. So we're missing in-game achievements that I think that would actually benefit. Linz, I see you laughing at the question. Go ahead, take it over.
I answered it in the chat, which is funny. But my joke answer is whatever condiment takes shinies away from Vandy and puts them into my game instead. Because we can shiny hunt at the same time, but he finds 5 shinies before I find 1. So it's very annoying, and I'm about to break a Switch in half. But I don't know, ketchup. I don't have a real answer.
Let's move on to this one. I'll take this one. It has to do with Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. Where do you guys see Nintendo taking the next Mario Kart? I can't help but think the next one might have some kind of VR element. Maybe pick up a Labo type VR accessory. No, I think Mario Kart is going to stay the same, but we'll have other things added to it. Like, for example, maybe we'll have a Smash Bros. Ultimate version of Mario Kart, where they will introduce new drivers into the field, and each driver will have its own kind of special ability. Instead of giving everybody a shell, maybe everybody have their own ability to kind of destroy the other cart. Maybe add a cart maker, a track maker to the. Well, we have a cart maker, a track maker to the fold, where people can build their own tracks and then share their own tracks online.
That would be
a la Mario Maker, where you can share your levels. So I think they will go that route when it comes to Mario Kart. VR, it's who knows? Nintendo's Nintendo. I don't they might, maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know how they would do it when it comes to VR. I don't think they're gonna bring Labo back. I'm not sure if they will to the point where it was before. VR headset. We found some patents with VR headsets from Nintendo, and they were actual VR headsets with real integrated wiring inside. They weren't cardboard, they were real. So we know that at least Nintendo's thinking about VR in that set. But when it comes to Mario Kart, I think they'll just go expand when it comes to players, online playability and creativity when it comes to creating carts, creating tracks, and stuff like that. I think they'll go that route. I think that's the big selling point. Create your own track. Just as many loops. Imagine having just loops and loops and loops and loops and loops or whatever, But I think that's the route they'll go with. Next question. Take it away, Randy.
What new titles do you expect Nintendo to draw in with the new specs released today? I mean, if you're talking about specifically like what games Nintendo is thinking about like releasing to make it look good, like specifically, gorgeous graphics, I feel like that's probably gonna be a lot of third party and then port overs, because that's not necessarily Nintendo's main concern. Like they do have games like Xenoblade and Tears of the Kingdom that look beautiful, or like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, but like those are cartoon. They're not supposed to look real. You're not supposed to feel like Kirby is in real life. He's in this magical world that Kirby lives in. Obviously the new 3D Mario game I think is going to look beautiful, but again, it's not going to look real because these are cartoon games. Like, they did create like New Donk City, which is kind of supposed to look like New York, but it's still in the Mario style, like Mario art style. So for the specific with the new specs, I think Nintendo is more worried about how they're going to able to just like optimize the Switch as a whole and then release like, good games, which is what I love about Nintendo, is that they do not care about anything else other than creating just good games that people would like and buy. But I will die on this hill. The first game we are going to get on the new Switch will be a new 3D Mario game, and it is going to look and play and run fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we have to give him some truth because he actually is the head of Call of Duty and Activision Blizzard. When he said that the PS4, and Xbox One will be almost the same with that power, which is actually this question. My question is, do you think the next gen hardware will be powerful as a PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, or Xbox Series S, or only as powerful as a PS4 and Xbox One? Yep, basically the latter, the PS4 and the Xbox One. I think I'm happy with PS4 and Xbox One. That's what I'm happy with. Anything above that is just a bonus for me. It'll be, if Nintendo can pull it off, to have I'm not gonna rule it out. To have at least an Xbox Series S level of a console that is also hybrid, that does not heat up, then I wouldn't rule it out. But I think for now, just because of what we heard it from a very credible source, the guy who was in charge of or Activision Blizzard, that the PS4 and Xbox One is the power of the next console. There's a lot of stories out there. We'll confirm more and more about that over the week, but that's what we heard so far today. So that's what I'm going for. PS4 and Xbox One, and I think Nintendo is gonna do if they're doing what they did with the Switch. Imagine what they do with just a little more power. I think it's gonna be great. Next one, Paul, you want to take this one? Wait, we did this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much the same as like the trophy style achievement.
Okay, so let's look for another
Oh,
one.
I will add something to Bobby
Yeah.
Kotick's comment,
Mhm.
the president, of Activision regarding that. He was asked later on in the same, interview
Yeah,
about Call of Duty on a Nintendo Switch successor, and he said, we missed the Nintendo Switch generation, but I would have to see the specs in front of me to see if it's possible next. So isn't that going against kind of the earlier
that?
comment of it's this powerful?
yeah. So I
don't
think
think it's all said and done that he either knows everything or everything is out there or Nintendo has shared it with all parties. So I wouldn't say it's all said and done yet, just how strong.
yeah.
So if you're holding on hope, like I hope it's stronger, you might. And even if it's not, think of it as that strong, but with modern tech thrown in to make it more comparable to the modern stuff without all the beef. And
That's a good way to put it, because you can make it a PS4 strong with modern tech. Is a different story, so you're right there. Let's see here. We have another question here. This is, do you think the Switch 2 could operate like a DS Lite? You mean like it's flipped, like a
What?
dual screen? I'm guessing he's talking about, and then also have a dock. Because
I don't think they would do that.
I don't think we need 2 screens anymore, personally.
yeah, we have 2 screens. We have it on dock mode, and we have it.
We have an
handheld
RGB.
mode. Yeah.
Can I make a comment on like Paul's thing that we just said?
Yeah, of
I
course.
think the thing that other people need to keep in mind too is that, I mean, granted the PS5 like just came out, but I think a lot of the games that were made when the PS4 was at its peak, like granted that was a while ago, right? If we're able to have a system as powerful as like a PS4 / Xbox One kind of stuff, and put that into today's modern technology and have people understand based off of how well PS4 did and the titles that did very well, and be able to capitalize on every single one of those facets, I think you're going to get a totally different product output with like modern technology, seeing exactly how those games ran and putting it out in today's gaming graphical qualities, capabilities, and everything else, than you would have seen it like however many years ago on a PS4 when like we didn't know the full extent as to how far we could push stuff. What's the best way to run these graphics at this time frame in order to get this kind of result? So I think based off of the trial and error that we've seen, we're kind of going into it with a totally different outlook than we would have had before. So I don't know. Like I said, I think it's cool, and I think it's a really good happy medium, and I think that Nintendo knows how to push that kind of boundary and make the most of those graphical capabilities, because again, a lot of Nintendo games don't need to be PS5 movie level graphics because Nintendo games aren't that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Okay, Ed Mike Odyssey, do you think we will see the Switch 2 Pro at a direct showcase, the Nintendo Tour, or the Gamescom, since there are upcoming game events for each month that we've been seeing from the events? Well, I already have a bet out there. What is it I'm supposed to be dressing as?
Yoshi.
Yoshi. So, and then Linz also has to wear your pajamas.
Yeah, my side
if it doesn't come out this winter, I'll wear my onesie.
Yeah,
It's in there. It looks like a unicorn. I'll do it.
Unicorn. I have to buy the Yoshi one. Okay, yeah. So this is what I believe. I think that even though we were getting a really great year, I had my doubts for a moment there when I saw the lineup, because this lineup is it's a beautiful lineup this year. It's a very beautiful lineup of games for the second half of the year. I still believe there's a chance that we might in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month, have a standalone presentation to announce the next gen Nintendo. And then Gamescom, maybe Nintendo Live, have some hands-on experiences, and but Nintendo would have to be smart. I know Paul said something earlier on that kind of got my attention about, of course, you don't want to destroy the sales for one console, going that way, and this kind of, so they would have to be smart enough to say, okay, now the new price for the Nintendo Switch is this. Yeah. Because we have this, because now we have this, so present them side by side, and of course make it known that this console is backwards compatible, that this one is not going away. It's gonna be here for a couple more years, dual releases. They have to present a good story to let people know that Switch owners, you don't have to worry if you want to buy a Switch right now for the holiday, and Switch 2 new owners, you don't have to worry if you're not going to lose anything from your past. As long as they do that, then I'm on the boat that they might announce something this year. The last time they announced, they went to Gamescom, and Gamescom, they haven't been to Gamescom since they announced the Switch Lite. They had a console at Gamescom presentation, so they're in Gamescom again this year. Hint, maybe they're there to present another console, another hands-on experience. Who knows?
Didn't they just randomly announce the OLED? Like, it wasn't during a part of a presentation. We just kind of woke up one day and they announced it, right?
Yeah, I think because that was a mid-gen upgrade, like a iteration. Yeah. It's the same console, just with an OLED screen, like a little upgrade, just like the Switch Lite was. Yeah, I think with the next gen console, they're gonna have a stage presentation.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't, but I just wasn't sure if the OLED was during a direct. I didn't remember it being a part of one.
Yeah, it was just like the Lite was the direct, right, Paul? The Lite wasn't the direct.
I think they were both just the Lite was. They had a PR announcement that they dropped it on Twitter, like July 6th or July 9th, 2019, something like that. Because I remember I was on vacation and we went to the Grand Canyon. Yeah, and we were literally playing Nintendo Switch in the hotel room bed, and then I hopped on my phone. I was like, "Oh snap! Nintendo Switch Lite coming out in September!" Like, cool. That was a good way to get the news. And then the OLED model, that one we had a feeling that something was coming, and sure enough, that next morning, also in July, was the Nintendo Switch OLED model. We didn't know. We're like, okay, it looks bigger, and it's the same thing.
I remember that one.
It originally supposed to be the Plus, and it was like, no, let's just make it an OLED screen and do the rest. But this time, with Gamescom, with Nintendo Live, with PAX West, there's so much going on. Something could be brewing. Like, I wouldn't omit the possibility of a console coming out this fall. It's crazy. Though. Could happen.
I agree. I remember the Switch OLED debacle thing, because even Bloomberg was actually the leading outlet in letting us know, we're getting an OLED screen, we're getting more a pro level Nintendo Switch. But even to this point, you can still argue that maybe that was their original plan, but because of the chip shortage that we were going under, the entire world was still kind of going upside down. Maybe they just settled for the OLED and say, you know what, scrap the next gen. Let's just go with the next gen console, and that's where we are now. But let's see here. Let's get about maybe two more questions here. You guys want to pick any questions from the chat?
I forgot who asked it, but there was one. Oh, yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
That's a good one right there.
Do we think we will ever get an official HD remake of Ocarina of Time? That will be epic. That'll be epic. I think that's the day that the Earth will stand still for a couple of hours and then start spinning again. When they announce it. What?
Give it to me in 5.5 years. Make it impactful for the game's 30th anniversary. Do a small 2D top-down Zelda like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Have some DLC for Tears of the Kingdom come out, within the next couple of years. But the next 3D Zelda, let it be a grand, epic scale remake of Ocarina of Time in 2028. which then means that much more time until the next like full-on 3D Zelda from scratch. But that would feel like such a monumental moment in gaming, because that was regarded as one of the best games of all time. My personal favorite game of all time until Breath of the Wild finally dethroned it. I would love that. Do I think it'll happen though? I think so. In the grand scheme of, I don't look just at the next 5 years. I'm like, I'm gonna be alive for another 70 years, okay? So before I die, I think we will get that game. So within the next 70 years, Nintendo, yes, we'll do it. 70? Yeah, that's good. I'll be 109. Yeah.
109.
There you go.
Well, we will all be here alive, old and pruny. Just welcome to the Nintendo podcast. Who's there? Wait, is Randy there? Yeah, so I think that's a good last question, right? That's a good last question because 30 years. The answer. I don't want to go after that answer because that was a really good answer. I think we got it for that one. So. Yeah, thank you guys for everything. I mean, thank for all the crew here for your amazing answers, the chat for your awesome questions. I think we hit 80 today. I think we hit 80. That was awesome. That was epic. Cool. And guys, believe it or not, we were only 20 viewers away from an instant giveaway.
Crazy.
Ooh.
You guys didn't know that, but you guys know that now. I was gonna give out something pretty big that I have back there once we hit 100 viewers. So for next Wednesday, we got that goal, guys. So invite your friends, your mom, your dad, your cat, your grandma, anybody. You just invite them, put them in front of the screen. Your pets, just put some food in front of the screen, let them watch a little bit, and then we'll get them watching. If we get to 100 viewers, that'll trigger a giveaway. What do you guys think?
That's so cool.
I'm here for it.
Let's
do it.
And, we got 2 winners of the past NINTOPICS podcast. We have a winner for the NINTOPICS podcast, and we also have a winner from a live stream that I give that I'm shipping tomorrow. It's 2 Link amiibos. I have 1 more Link amiibo, and I have 1 Zelda amiibo. Of course, once the Tears in the Kingdom amiibo comes out with Ganon and Zelda, those will also be given away if I can get them in my hands before they go out, because I know those will be more popular than the ones for Link. But yeah, that is the NINTOPICS podcast. Nintendo Switch 2. When is it coming? Who knows? We know accounts are moving forward. Hopefully this year. Will I dress as Yoshi and Linz as a unicorn? Who knows? We have to stand. What is that you say when those little old episodes? Stay tuned for the next awesome adventure of Pokemon or whatever. I don't know. Of Dragon Ball Z.
Yep, there it is.
So anyway, guys, thank you in the chat for being here. I'm so glad we hit 8 today. It was fantastic. Thank you, Linz. Thank you, Vandy. Thank you, Paul Gale Network. Guys, starting with Vandy, where can we find you? What do you have going on this week?
I am Vandy323. I'm Vandy323 on YouTube. Vandy_323 on Twitch, because for some stupid reason someone already took Vandy323.
Come on.
I don't know how. And then Vandy323YT on Twitter. Right now doing a lot of shiny hunting, doing a lot of challenge videos. I have the next 5 videos planned on YouTube already. And I've recorded already a bunch of them. Already got a whole lot of stuff going. So this next couple of months are going to be pretty big on the YouTube channel. And then on Twitch, we just hit affiliate. Did it in 7 days. So that's really exciting. I have a subathon coming up after the 4th of July. So yeah, definitely make sure to go over there, support and stuff like that. I am pretty much the same streaming as I am on this podcast. Just a big ball of stupid energy. So that's me.
And by the way, happy 60K.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we also just hit 60K on YouTube. So that's honestly crazy. Thank you guys. 40K more.
Yeah, for the next 40. Goal. And then I need 60 to his 40. So it's like 60, 40, 60, 40.
Yeah, okay, big cat.
There you go. Right. All right. Paul Gale Network, what do you have going on? And where can we find you?
Find me and going on Twitter and YouTube, Paul Gale Network. YouTube, I didn't update anything recently since the Nintendo Direct, where I did my live reaction and stuff like that. Although sometimes on YouTube, I'll do some workout videos for Kit and Krista's community.
Mhm.
That's a little partnership there. So that's available on my channel. It's just kind of exercises that you could do at home, kind of for the gamer in mind, just because, I mean, anyone could do it, but the gamer energy, that's what I talk about when we do the videos. And then on Twitter, Paul Gale Network, also just dropping random news details like this cool breakdown of how Nintendo Switch has fared up in the last 75 months and whatnot. And then my birthday is next Friday, so that's actually cool. That's good too.
Yeah!
Happy birthday!
That's about it.
Can we have a birthday party where we all wear a party hat next episode?
Birthday, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Hey, is it this Friday or next week Friday?
Next Friday, July 7th.
All right, so next podcast, let's find birthday hats. Birthday hats.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All right,
I'll
Liz.
get a pinata and you can just
Pinata.
like virtually hit it. We'll like find a way to
Right.
stage it.
A Fortnite pinata, right?
Exactly.
Fortnite. Get the Master Sword on. Just go.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I got one.
You say, Bandy's Master Sword. You hold the pinata, and then just Paul whacks it.
There we go. That's it.
Pretty good.
All right, man. Liz, where can we find you, and what do you have going on this week?
Hi, hello. I'm Linz, also known as Lids Vids on Twitch and Twitter. But we're doing a lot of shiny locks, which is basically where you do a Nuzlocke of a Pokemon game, but you only use shiny Pokemon. Sorry, Mike. Yeah. We're also doing a Can You Beat Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Oh, I heard that. Can you beat Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with only evolutions, which has been really, really fun to do because Eevees are like my favorite Pokemons in the game. So doing it with the babies, I'm hoping makes me return my love for Scarlet and Violet just like a hair, just like a little bit. Otherwise, we're always doing like Pokemon Unite and some other just kind of fun stuff. But yeah, good vibes.
Nice. And you can find Mike Odyssey here at the Mike Odyssey channel. Join the journey, join the adventure. Monday through Friday, we have Odyssey news. We have the podcast on Wednesdays where we all get together and talk about Nintendo. And then on weekends, I'm going to start doing more Nintendo products. Like I have a new series going on called I Got Scammed on Temu by Nintendo Stuff. It's coming soon.
Wow.
So I'm going to be going shopping for Nintendo products, rare stuff. I'm going to be going to shops and interviewing people. It's not just going to be news. It's going to be Nintendo entertainment. So, I started with Nintendo entertainment, but I'm branching out to more stuff. I'm inspired by Vandy and his channel because the guy does crazy stuff, and by Linz, and by Paul. Like Paul's effort becoming Super Saiyan, Linz and Vandy's like Pokemon incredible journey and innovative content. That's why I call it innovative content. Inspired me to also branch out and to do other things besides just news, right? So yeah, I have a lot more things going on. Hopefully you guys can catch that soon. I got some stuff in that just arrived from Temu. Hopefully I don't get too scammed, right?
Right, surely.
I bought a Nintendo Switch. Okay.
Nintendo Switch.
For $7.
Right.
For $7.
You got the first one.
For $7. All right, guys, you can catch the Topic podcast everywhere podcasts are heard, including I guess now Twitch. We haven't been knocked out of Twitch, so Twitch, hi Twitchers.
W.
We're now alive on also Twitter. We got about 0 viewers on Twitter. Thank you, Twitter. And then here at the Mike Odyssey channel. Thank you guys so much for watching the NINTOPICS podcast. See ya next week. But before we let you go, we got 2 important things we need to let you know. Number 1, Paul, let them know.
Journey On is...
No, that's number 2, Paul. Come on, Paul.
Come on, Paul.
Come on, Paul.
How are you going to tell them the Journey On if they've already given up?
If they've already given up.
No, never give up. I like that. Journey On.
Journey on. But I've already given up.
Already given up. We were already giving up.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's really good.
Whew.
All right, so go ahead, Paul. Never give up. And
Never give up. And Journey On.
peace
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
and love.
Whew.
See you guys.
Oh, what an end.
I've already given up.
My journey's over.
It's over. It's over.